Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Roots and Wings, a podcast that's dedicated to business owners who are looking at their sales and marketing, looking at their growth, and going, am I alone in this? Who's going to help me to guide me into with some of these difficult questions that I have? Well, that's what this podcast has done, and we want to thank all those comments and likes and shares that people have been doing over the last number of episodes. We really appreciate it. And I hope you caught some of the most recent podcasts where we've interviewed a business owner about the recent tariffs. We've talked about sales and marketing. So allow me to reintroduce myself. I'm David Solomon. I'm a fractional chief revenue officer.
I'm Jennifer He. I'm a fractional chief marketing officer.
And in today's episode, we're going to talk about after sale, the customer experience after a sale. And the reason I'm bringing this up is, Jennifer, I was recently in Mexico City with a new client, and they're in the medical services area. And they were talking. They wanted me to experience what they're trying to provide in Mexico. It's a full body scan. It's quite unique what they're trying to do. It's very exciting. It's not intrusive. So before went into the scan, they told me all about it. I wasn't sure. The comfort was good. The during experience, the first part wasn't so good. We kind of tweaked it. And then the last part of that experience was absolutely phenomenal, life changing for me.
Mm-hmm.
The after experience was not thought out well enough. And I said, if you're going to go into the United States with this mindset,
Mm-hmm.
don't go. And it got me thinking, Jennifer, how many of our clients and people we've spoken to over the years forgot that after sale is as important as anything else? So, from
Yes.
a marketing perspective, Jennifer, why is the customer experience after the sale
Mm-hmm.
so critical?
So let me ask you several questions, right? Do you
Please.
want do you want a sustainable business? And do you
Exciting.
want to lower the cost of your ongoing marketing budget, right? So for customer retention. And if the answer to those questions are yes, then you must 100% care about the after sale experience, because that's for the sustainable growth. And if you already have a customer and you don't need to spend so much like marketing budgets trying to tell them who you are from the very beginning, right? So if you deliver the service in the delivery stage after the sale very well, then that means you are going to lower your customer acquisition and retention cost along the road. And I'm going to introduce another concept here, because brand and marketing, there are differences. And a lot of people confuse marketing with brand. And so from my perspective, and I will always credit this to one of my mentors, David Kincaid, who is a legendary brand strategist in Canada. So a brand, to his definition, is a promise consistently kept. So what is that promise? You are delivering along a customer's lifetime value with you, because you don't only do business once. Otherwise, that's very transactional. You can do that, but then you're gonna start from scratch again, right? So it's all costs to you business owners and leaders.
I think one of the exciting things from a marketing perspective is the power of word of mouth.
Yes.
And when the customer experience, even after the sale, is great, what ends up happening, Jennifer? Like, what's the word of mouth like?
Hmm. Yeah, the word of mouth is, a customer and client experience your service, and if it's super like great, and they're gonna advocate for you. I'll give you a recent example, very simple example, because I went to my tailor,
Hmm.
and this is the tailor that's new to me. I went to him for the first time to do an alteration, and he gave me a price which was wrong. It's cheaper than he usually charges other customer for this kind of pants. But then I went back and he said, oh, I made a mistake. It should be this price. I can't remember, maybe $25, and he should have charged me 40 or $35. But then he said, the mistake is mine. I took responsibility for it. So, that was an after sale experience, right? So, and his service, good quality, and the delivery is super. And then this experience, that's the integrity of your business. So he's been there in that shopping mall for over close to 30 years.
Wow.
So I was like, with that reputation, right? And you survive for over 30 years. There must be a reason.
Including
And
COVID,
then,
yeah. Yeah,
yeah, then I told every girlfriend of mine about his service.
there you go. I'll tell you, one of the retail experiences that I always have is, and because I travel a lot, I do a lot of on the road and whatever. So for me, coffee shops, that's my world, whether it's a Starbucks, a McDonald's, a Dunkin' Donuts in the United States and whatever. And for me, what I find is that not every location I've gone to has had the same experience. And what I talk about is, sure, I can get to the counter and everything is fine. I get my coffee, I might get my snack, and then I go sit down, or I go to the bathroom.
Mm.
And I want to tell you something. My mother did drill this in my head when I was a little boy. Clean bathrooms are the best places to go. And it's not like I run to the bathroom first to check out if a coffee shop is clean. But I have to tell you that even some of the best brands that I've been to,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to leave the restaurant. I wanted to leave the coffee shop because the place was filthy. And tables were not cleaned. The bathroom was not clean. And I said, even this brand name, which I won't say who it is,
Mm-hmm.
but I picked up and I left.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to go back there again.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, this is all part of the after sale experience. It's
Mm-hmm.
not just how I'm treated at the counter.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to sit down in this place? Do I want to, be here? I think that people forget that the experience, like you said it yourself, your costs go down in your marketing because people will come back. And this is from a sales perspective. I tell people it takes a lot to acquire a customer,
Mm-hmm.
but it's so easy to lose them if
Yes.
that if the journey ends at the acquisition. And I'm sorry we're being very technical, but once I do the transaction, I buy that coffee, I buy that shirt,
Mm-hmm.
I tailor those pair of pants.
Mm-hmm.
If my experience ends there badly or after badly, I'm not coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you seen from retail other than the tailor? What experiences have you shared with your clients to say, fix this, make this better because you want your clients to come back?
Yeah, I wanted to make another point is sales and marketing and those kind of business processes, it's not linear. It's not like after
No.
you complete the sale and
Right.
sales and marketing functions stop there. So it is a business system. It's integrative and it's spiral as well. And in your service delivery, you should integrate sales and marketing techniques in after sale for future value. And this is what I'm seeing, and we
Mhm.
are advising our clients as well. I'll give you an example. This is a unique business, communal dresses,
Right.
communion uh, dresses, for little girls, right? So you
Mhm.
think, okay, at the age of 7 or 8, and they completed that sale, and I'm not, yeah, I'm done. But you are not done. Think about customer life value. We This is another term, right? So when they grow to at the age of 12, and they basically before university and all those years, they have different needs. And if you deliver that service, like your store, yeah, we kept telling that client, your store needs to be
Right.
like, and your shelf, and you need to leave room for those trolleys to go through, right? Imagine
Mhm.
imagine the parents, and also the dresses, the display of them, and the cleanness. And you never know. Your clients might come back for prom dresses, right? 10 years later, and they've got siblings.
Right.
This is the example, I'm thinking of right now.
So to your point, I'm going to tell you a personal story, okay?
Mhm. Yeah.
Because, and a shout out to Betty Rubin in Shadiac, New Brunswick, which is just outside of Moncton, New Brunswick. And Betty's son is married to my wife's cousin, so that's the relationship. Now, why am I bringing Betty into the story? It's
Yeah.
exactly what you just said. Betty Rubin has been in the dress business for decades,
Mhm.
okay? And she started with prom dresses.
Mm.
She went in, she also has bridal dresses. So she has prom and she's got bridal, and I think she might have some communion. I may be wrong in that, whatever.
Yeah.
But if you said that you bought a prom dress or a bridal dress, the name Betty Rubin came out.
Mm.
Now, I've known Betty for now 15 years, and I said, Betty, what was your secret?
Mm.
And her answer to me was, and her son, and everybody I ever spoke to about Betty Rubin, I met quite a few people who bought dresses from Betty Rubin. She took care of me.
Mm.
She understood me
Yeah.
before, during, after.
Mhm.
And the after part, her whole customer experience was
Mhm.
so good that the prom dresses that they bought at 17, 18 years old, there was no doubt they're coming back for bridal dresses
Mhm.
5 and 10 years later.
Yeah.
And Betty is now mid 80s, working from home,
Mhm.
still doing dresses
Mhm.
for brides and for proms,
Mhm.
and she's going strong
Yeah.
despite her physical challenges.
Yeah.
Betty's reputation for decades has been impeccable from
Mhm.
that perspective. So for me, the journey, that's, it's funny you brought that up. I didn't even think about it, but Betty has, I mean, I can't tell you how many women I met,
Mhm.
Montreal,
Mhm.
New Brunswick, who've
Mhm.
said, oh, of course, Betty Rubin, I bought my dress from her.
Mhm.
Why?
Because yeah,
She's a
she built a
she
reputation and she
built her
built a personal brand.
reputation that the
That's
word of
so-
mouth, her brand, has
Yeah.
carried her for decades.
Yes.
She doesn't spend money on it. She had a big advertising budget a long time ago,
Mhm.
but she's working from home now,
Yeah.
and still people want to go to get a Betty Rubin dress. She's
Yeah.
not a designer anymore. Her late husband used to be a designer, whatever. But her service, unbelievable. You know,
Yeah.
Jennifer, from a sales perspective, this is what I tell salespeople. I said, listen, if you're talking in a B2B sphere, and here you are, you worked so hard to
Mhm.
make a sale,
Mhm.
only to blow it on delivery,
Mhm.
an after sale problem, or something like that,
Mhm.
you have to start all over again.
Mhm.
And the key in sales is recurring revenue,
Mhm.
repeat business. And
Mhm.
if you're going to blow it and you have to start all over again, that cost is expensive. But a
Yeah.
recurring client, a returning client who is happy, not only continues to buy from you,
Mhm.
but refers you.
Mhm.
And therefore, why would you blow that last part of the journey?
Mhm.
I understand at times clients could be, and I'm sure you've seen this in retail, Jennifer.
Mhm.
Clients can be vicious,
Mhm.
demanding,
Mhm.
un, you know, they're expecting too much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you woke up today or last week, you heard that Starbucks was sued for $50 million because someone spilled tea on their lap because the cover wasn't put on right.
Mhm.
And the person won a $50 million lawsuit in California. So we know that customers could be ridiculous,
Mhm.
but it's still worth investing in that journey, is it not?
For sure, 100%. And also, yeah, one of my clients actually in financial services. So she asked me, how can she build out a moat? So I would say your personal brand over time, you add little things to that brand over time, your moat, yeah, that's your competitive edge, actually,
Why don't you
advantage.
explain a little bit about a moat? What do you mean by that?
It is, how you protect your business from competitors, uh, kind of not steal your customer, getting your customers. So over time, you mentioned Betty's dress, right? And her customers and your feeling is, oh, she understands me. She listens to me. So that's part of the brand building. And that is why you need to care about the after sale experience.
And I'll tell you one more thing I'll add to that. And I didn't ask Betty about her prices,
Hmm.
but I can tell you right now, you could raise your prices if you have that moat. You
Yes.
could become so solid that people will pay you. There's a value. I'm not saying you could, there's any price you could possibly
Hmm.
want,
Hmm.
but think of it, the fear of raising prices is because we haven't built that moat. And that moat you talked about, that protection of um, you know, my brand includes that the journey, the after sale customer experience, making it optimal. When people feel respected, when people feel like you're protecting them,
Hmm.
there's a value, and
Hmm.
people are willing to pay for that value.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
I think
It's
as a
value
business,
over price.
the value over price. So to me, a business strategy is if you invest on that side,
Hmm.
the I think the gain is definitely outweighs everything.
Hmm. Yes.
From from
Totally.
from your experience in marketing,
Hmm.
I mean, you talked about the mode. I mean, someone will say to you, "I don't want to get abused by the customer." What have you advised your customers in terms of where's the, you know, how to help them in that area? Do you have any experience in there?
Sorry.
What I
What?
mean is, when a customer said, when people say, "Well, listen, I have a policy. I'm not going to break my policy. This is my policy," and you go, "Well, let's tweak it. Let's modify it a little bit
Yeah.
so we can,
I would say always put your customer at the center. Some of the customer, if they're not your target customer, that's totally fine. Let them go. But another, like nothing, nothing is there like fixated these days. Let's put it that way. Because at my practice, my company, my partners, we say to our clients, we help you embrace change with confidence and creativity. So you said a policy, like a company's policy, a policy is a policy is a policy. It will change because your customer change, your environment change, right? So my question is, do you want to beat your competitors? Do you want to have a sustainable business? Do you want to decrease the cost of customer acquisition? If those the answer to those questions are yes, then you have to um, care about the after sale, your customer experience.
it's funny you bring that up because if you recall, where was Zeller's or Woolco's customer service department? Do you recall where it was in the store?
I
In,
actually
in
don't
the
remember.
back. It used to be in the back of the store.
Ah.
Where is Walmart's customer service department? In the front of the store.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Costco's customer service department?
Mm-hmm.
In the front of the
Yes.
store.
Yes.
And their attitude is bring it back if you're not happy.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, there are people who abuse, and I dealt with Walmart back when they came here to Canada in 1995, and
Yeah.
sometimes we would get goods back. We were, whatever. And they have a relationship with their suppliers, and people say it's abusive, not entirely abusive,
Mm-hmm.
but the experience for the customer was to make the least amount of obstacles possible so that they can buy again.
Yeah.
And when you looked at the Zellers and the Woolcos and the Eatons of the day,
Mm-hmm.
customer service was nowhere to be found. It was an inconvenience.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where are they today?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to say is that you can look at today the people who are front facing. And I'll give you an example. We were in Target in the United States
Mm-hmm.
and we wanted to buy a gift certificate.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Oh, the most you could do is $500."
Mm-hmm.
Why? That's our policy. Why?
Mm-hmm.
That's our policy. So if I want to buy $1,000 with the gift cards, you're telling me no,
Mm-hmm.
no, you can't. So I said to my wife, "Okay, hold on. I'll buy 500. She buys 500. Oh no, you can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
Why not? You're together. I'll walk out of the store. She'll buy all.
So
Are you guys
they,
like
they
thinking
leave
here?
money on the table, right?
Like, what are you doing here?" And
Yeah.
so to me, I found that despite how good Target is,
Hmm.
I wasn't excited.
Hmm.
I wasn't excited to go back there and to do.
Yeah.
And really to, I just don't find that that these are the kinds of businesses that eventually are going to hurt.
Hmm. Yeah. And you just reminded me, right? These days we're talking about Hudson Bay Company, right?
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Yep.
had a long history in Canada, but they are going bankrupt. But meanwhile, not all retail is bad. And you look at Uniqlo, brand like that. Uniqlo is opening two more stores in Ontario. So why is that? I'm gonna challenge our business leaders and owners in this field to think about those things.
Oh, they're going to tell you, Jennifer, Hudson Bay can't compete with fast fashion and this and that. It's also physical space and this and that. I saw Uniqlo in 2013 in Tokyo,
Hmm.
and the same business model I saw there has come here.
Hmm.
I think they had over 1,000 stores in Japan.
Yeah.
They are a they are a powerhouse.
Yeah.
Get it?
Yeah.
And their whole customer experience is actually very pleasant.
Hmm.
Okay, from beginning to end.
Yes.
And even returns, they're online, everything is well thought out.
Yeah.
The
And their
Bay,
digital strategies, all those things.
yeah,
And they're beating up H&M, and they're beating up Zara.
it's too
So
bad for them. But if
yeah.
you guys want to stay stuck in the old days, I mean that's the way it is. But I tell people the same thing in B2B. The customer changes.
Hmm.
When I started in the business, I had to approach boomers. They were
Hmm.
the decision makers. Then it
Hmm.
was Gen X.
Yeah.
It's Gen Y, and it's heading to Gen Z.
Hmm.
And if I don't adapt my methodologies to accommodate for that buyer, I'm going to lose. And
Hmm.
those buyers, and I'll tell you one of the crazy things is those buyers, Gen Z, wants to be communicated on text. They don't want emails. They want an app. They don't want they That's their convenience. I don't want an app. I don't want to be contacted on text or WhatsApp.
Hmm.
That's me.
Hmm.
And so if I want to work with clients today in B2B, the whole experience has to be accommodating for all the channels of communication and the opportunities of accommodation that didn't exist maybe 20, 30 years ago.
Hmm.
But if you
Hmm.
don't evolve, you'll become the Bay. And
Yes.
while the Bay is the oldest company in Canada ever, company registration number one,
Hmm.
established 500 years ago or thereabouts,
Yeah.
you could go by the way of the dodo too.
Hmm.
So Jennifer, what let's talk about the final takeaways as we wrap up this session.
Hmm.
What is the key message that you would like our listeners or viewers to take away from them when it comes up to this after sale and this customer experience?
Yeah, so basically the takeaway is 100%. You need to care about the customer experience after the sale. So CX is the most important thing, and it builds up your brand, and a promise consistently kept. That's a promise consistent kept, two elements of a brand. And I'm going to add another two is the reputation, what others are saying about you and the future you, right? So we say policy is a policy is a policy. It needs to change. When the times comes, if it needs to change, it has to change. So the future you, that's the brand. And it's going to decrease your marketing cost uh, along the road, and build up your moat. So that's the key takeaways.
And I think to add to that, from a sales perspective,
Mhm.
your salespeople if you want your salespeople to focus on new, then you need somebody to focus on the repeat. And you need people to focus on the customer experience after sale. And if
Mhm.
that's optimal, then your salespeople can focus on the new, but also maintain the relationship with the existing customers and make it better. And when they're happy, they can get referrals. And when their customers are happy, they'll want to continue doing business with you and they will not walk away.
Yeah.
So whether B2C or B2B or B2G, the business to government, or any other form of B2, whatever, B2B to B2C, because we got so many 40 letters right now. That customer experience is amazing. And I'll just leave you this with this impression. Think of when you've gone shopping and you've had to return something and there were no questions asked.
Mm-hmm.
Now imagine if every one of those experiences, B2B, B2C, was like that. How happy would you be as a customer, as a consumer? You'd be
Yes.
thrilled. Well, then think about that in your business, how to put that into place. And to that end, if you have any questions about how to do that within your business,
Mm-hmm.
Jennifer's an expert marketer. She can help you to figure this out from a marketing and a branding perspective to develop the right kind of strategy. And if you're looking for the growth and expansion into a new market in such a
And
way that you do have
David.
that customer experience, love to communicate with you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to an end of another edition of Roots and Wings, our podcast. If you have not watched the previous episodes, go to our channel, subscribe, like, share. We're all over LinkedIn, YouTube, you name it. Please share this with people that you know that are small, mid-sized businesses who are wondering, how do I have the answer to these questions? You've
Mm-hmm.
probably covered it by now. But we'll be back again in a couple of weeks. And until next time, Jennifer, let's say goodbye.
Goodbye, and thank you for tuning in.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.